Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the Disney visa application. Now that we're done with the application process of applying for the visa, let's go to the interview itself. And before I proceed with the video, I would like to put it out there. This is solely based on my own experience, my own advice, and like everything here, like all the tips, all the advice is based on my experience. So don't take this as first-hand information. Don't take this as a guarantee to a spot to pass the interview. It's just based on my experience. Mind you, this is a face-to-face interview, so the first impression really matters. The way you dress, the way you handle yourself at the interview really plays an important role. First and foremost, remember the documentation that you're supposed to bring. I talked about that on my previous video. If you haven't seen it, please go to my profile, go to my channel and look for that video. But long story short, I mentioned the passport, I mentioned the passport pictures, I mentioned the DS-160 form, I mentioned the petition, and if you have any other documents that you feel might help your case, then please be sure to bring them along with you. And again, like I said, the first impression matters. I'm not saying you should dress like formal wear, like you're going to an office meeting and stuff like that, but make sure you look presentable. You don't want someone to look at you and then be like, so you're coming for like an interview, and because obviously you're not going to be interviewed by someone from Botswana, you're going to be interviewed by someone from the United States, because you are applying for the US visa. So the thing that you want to do, make sure you look presentable. Jeans and a t-shirt, a nice t-shirt, a nice dress, a nice skirt, nice shoes, but just make sure you look presentable. Look well organized when you show up for the interview. The second thing that you're supposed to remember is that when you go for your interview, I'm not sure if things have changed, but the time when I was doing my interview, and this is in Botswana, the time when I was doing my visa interview, I had to leave some of my things at the gate, like my cell phone. So those are some of the things that you should remember. Don't be like, I actually have to get something from my phone. They won't let you, because that'll remain with the security at the gate. So just make sure you have the important documentation that you need, and then your phone is going to remain at the gate at security. So that's one of the things that you should remember. And then the other advice that I have for you guys is that once you enter the interview room, just be cautious of whatever that is going on around you. You are there for an interview, you're not there to make friends. If you see someone that greet them. Mind your own business. There's no need to go all, oh, you're here for this, blah blah blah, I'm here for this too. They basically want to see that you have something that ties you to Botswana. So you don't want someone to feel like, if you're comfortable in this interview and you are here with your friend and you can talk with them like this, it means you guys have planned something and you vacating the country and never coming back, But yeah, that's my advice to you. When you get in the interview room, greet whoever that you want to greet, then just sit there, mind your own business. I didn't know anyone and I found the room full of people, so I just took a chair, I sat there, that was it. I never even greeted anyone. I just came in, I went to pay the money that I was supposed to pay. The woman sent me back, like I told you guys on my previous video. I went there, and yeah. And actually that's one of the reasons why you should value time. So this is something that you're not certain, like they might give you a time frame, to say your interview will be between this time and this time, but make sure you arrive well in time. Like I arrived, I think 45 minutes before my interview, and yeah, it gave me more time to do more things. Who knows, if I arrived maybe 5 minutes before my interview, maybe I wouldn't have made it, because that was the time when they sent me to the bank to get money. So just make sure you arrive early. Look at that, I arrived 45 minutes early. I had time to go by the bank, get the money, and then come back and still wait, for my interview to begin. So that is why you need to give yourself more time when you go for this interview. Plan everything well ahead of time, like your transport, each and everything that you need on that day. Make sure it's well organized the day before. If it means having to sit like in front of the security gate with the security guards for like 2 hours, 4 hours, just go sit with them. You know, it's not like something's going to happen to you, but just make sure you plan everything accordingly. You don't want to arrive late, you don't want to miss your interview, because if you miss it, you're going to pay again, you know. So that's one of the things to remember: time. So on top of all the documents that I had, the other document that I decided to add was a recommendation letter. So before I went for my visa interview, I was actually working in Kasani, but it was just like a temporary job, you know. So the manager said, once you come back from Disney, I will offer you a position in the company, you know. So that was something good, you know. It was something good. So I asked him, like, can you actually draft that in a paper so that when I go for my visa interview, then I will show that, you know, because I feel that's something that ties me to Botswana, you know, a permanent job position, something much more than what I have now, you know. So I feel that is something that worked for me. So if you have an opportunity to do something like that, then please do it. But if you don't have the recommendation letter, then it doesn't mean you won't make it. You can still make it without the recommendation letter. The other thing that I brought with me were my school transcripts, because I had just previously came out of school, you know. So I brought all my transcripts just in case if she asked me anything about it, you know. But yes, she did ask me. She did ask me about my school and all those things, you know. So remember that the DS-160 form that I talked about on the previous video, they will basically ask you everything that is on that form. That's why I said when they ask you questions, know that you have something to back it up with, you know. When you answer questions on that paper, make sure you will remember them, because everything that is there, they need to see that this is it, you know. And at times they will ask you questions like a lawyer. You know how a lawyer asks you the same question but in different ways. So they will ask you all those questions but in tricky ways. So just make sure you stand your ground, make sure you remember each and everything that you wrote on that form, because that is basically what they will ask you. And I feel like I said a lot of information today, but I will definitely continue this on my next video. There's still more coming. Thank you and bye. Oh, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and do like, give it a thumbs up, that is what I mean, and tap on the notification bell, and share it with your friends. You might save a soul out there. Ciao.